welcome to Season 2 of BISambition. I'm Amukta.
And I'm Malak.
I'm Athena.
And I'm Romaine.
And today we've got a special episode lined up for you. So in Season 2, we're switching things up a bit, and we're going to be discussing careers and locations so that you guys know that you're choosing the right major and right university for you.
In this episode specifically, we're just going to give some pointers on how to do that efficiently without going into much detail.
All right, so let's get started. Athena, do you have any tips on how to choose your university location?
Location. Definitely when I think of uni locations, I'm gonna think of finances. Like, let's be real. Like, you can't have the ideal location without having money, and so I think number one tip is make sure you do like the most research on like the location you're thinking of in terms of like how much you're going to spend on a monthly basis, because that's going to affect you as much as you think. It's going to add up into your expenses, your daily expenses going into uni. So, and then second, obviously safety. Like, just do a lot of research about the area. See maybe if I'm sure there's reviews on like, I think it's like Airbnb or something. Yeah. Like, they put on reviews about how safe it is and etc. And besides the basic obvious reasons for location, I think it's more of your lifestyle. Some people are comfortable with different areas, and it's all about knowing what to look for and knowing that when you do choose the final area, you're not gonna like regret it, or you're not gonna be like, oh, I should have checked this before, I should have, so it's good to, I think, ask your adults, like your family. Your parents must know a lot about that. So
adding on to that, like, speaking of family, don't maybe like you might want to take into consideration where your family's gonna live, so you're not too far away from them. Like, if that's something that you find important, because plane tickets could be expensive, I guess, to go back and forth.
Or if you want to be
or if you want to go as far away as possible.
We don't judge,
yeah. Or like maybe depending on the uni the specialization that you want to go into, just make sure that the country or the university in that country is suitable for your needs. So maybe the location is important, to enjoy the country itself with the views or whatever, but it's also important to make sure that the university has like the right facilities for you.
Don't be blindsided by like pretty views.
And also, like, make sure that you think about what's important to you specifically, because while, like, to some people, family will be important, to others, like, I want the pretty views. I've got to be honest. Like, that, so just, like, think about your priorities when you're choosing it.
And also something that could be important to quite a few people is whether you know the language. So obviously you might want to go to somewhere where English is the main language that's spoken, so you're going to be able to communicate with locals better and make, like, friends that are strangers. Whereas if you go to somewhere where English maybe isn't the mainly spoken language, you might need to invest in learning that. So maybe like Duolingo, like courses, summer courses, stuff like that. Or maybe you're fine with not being able to interact with locals and sticking to like an international community. And then obviously a tip is to watch like YouTube videos of like people that live there. Like, obviously there's a lot of like moving in vlogs to universities that would be really interesting to look at, and also looking at like what I spend in a week and stuff like that is really good.
Honestly, I think that's the most important thing, because like you may not see, like, the university itself isn't going to give you, it's not going to tell you everything about like living there. So making sure that you look at other people's experiences is quite important, because it's most likely that you might experience like a few of the same situations or whatever.
Yeah, and like looking at things like a day in my life at this university could also be helpful, because like you get to see what the social life there is like. And so if you really care about things like bars, anything like that, being able to have a social life outside of the university, it's important.
And so, just like speaking a little bit more about location, I guess it's really important that you think about like Athena said, the lifestyles that you're going to have, but also what you can do after you graduate. So Malik, you touched upon this, but like, does your area specialize in a certain thing? Like, is your area known for having better technology or a really good like economic society and stuff like that? Like, it's really important to think about the opportunities that you can get outside of university within that country. And like just going off of that, let's move on to like how you choose the actual university itself. Athena, do you have any tips on that?
Choosing the actual university, I'm like the last person here because I've been like really dreading it because especially for me, I'm not sure what to do.
Yeah.
But that's also always good because it keeps my doors open. Like I'm not looking for anything specific, and then when you do research on universities, you kind of find yourself learning something new about different universities. So I think it's more obviously what you want to do, the course and everything, but think about what you want to get out of like uni experiences. Some unis kind of have a big thing for sports. Some unis have a name for clubs. Maybe they work with different organizations, So things like that will kind of eventually benefit you directly. So if you know that this university works for works closely with a company that you've been like thinking about, or you could really use, I think that's something to take into consideration. And of course, picking a uni is like it's difficult because nowadays there's like modern unis, like the new ones. There's so many new unis, and a lot of them are like the campuses are different. Like if you talk about like Ivy League unis, you look at the campus there, and then you look at like slightly newer unis. So it depends what kind of environment you're comfortable with.
And I also think like in terms of location, we were told this before, but depending on how like certain you are about what you want to do in the future, your location will change. For example, like when you apply to unis in the UK, you do have to know your course and what you're going to do, and I guess you have to kind of have like a more set plan for your future. Whereas if you were to go to like America, I think the fact that you can choose minors and you can like switch majors really easily, I think if that's important to you and you're a bit unsure, maybe going to somewhere where you can minor in things or you can switch around easily is important.
On the thing with UK unis, you can also use UCAS to see whatever courses are offered by that university, so you can get a good idea of which might be the best choice for you. Also, it's important to keep in mind that like really famous universities like Oxbridge or Ivy's in the US aren't necessarily going to be the best choice for you, because while they're famous, they might not be the top in any specific field. So you have to like take that into consideration, and they might not be the best choice for you specifically.
And it's also quite important to like just get it in your head that you're not gonna get everything like that you want in one location. So like don't set your expectations too high. Like, oh, I want a great social life and life.
Oh God, no life.
And I want like, oh, a beautiful location with so many activities to do, and it's cheap as well and everything. Like you're never gonna find a location that's perfect. So just keep that in mind.
That's true.
Yeah, just really make sure that you know what your priorities are when you're choosing that location. And also like back to the university rankings and stuff, I think as much as like the general number, like, oh, world number 3, like all of that is really important. Also looking at some of the more specific stats, like the staff to student ratio could be important to you. If you know that you're someone that likes like one-on-one time with your professors and stuff like that, like also look through the details of the university, and don't just like have the university ranking be the end all be all of how good a uni is.
Okay, but sorry, let's be on that. These are all good tips, but then I'm kind of reaching a conclusion. Like we have to be honest with ourselves. We're definitely gonna like do all the research. We're gonna look into all these things, and in the end, when we do get to uni, there's still gonna be other kind of like challenges we might face, and not everything's gonna like you could do like all the research for like a year before or whatever. But still, when you get into the uni, there's always like an unexpected thing that you never would have thought, and that's kind of part of it. Like uni is part of it. So ultimately, like maybe some of us might not be thinking really detail about it, not because because of like uni is, there's so much thing to kind of add to it to reach a decision. So ultimately, I think choose what you think will make you like happy, because you're gonna be in this for a while, and you don't want to just because this course is really good And then when you do get in and you didn't, like the workload and everything, you don't want to like get into uni and kind of just be like regretting and not dreading everything, you know? So it's not fun.
I agree. Like, don't be afraid of a little bit of uncertainty. Like, obviously, that's going to come, and you're never going to be like 100% sure of all of your decisions. But I think what also could help is visiting your unis, visiting the location, especially if you're planning on going abroad to somewhere obviously you've never been before. I think like if you could visit in the summer, that would be really great. So you can get more of a feel, and it's going to feel like less kind of like new or strange when you do go there.
Also remember that like this isn't the be all or end all. If you don't like the course you're doing, like you can always change. Even like in the US, you can always change your major, but in the UK, like you can stop, figure out your life, and like this isn't like the final thing that you have to do.
Yeah.
And
Like-
the most important thing is to pick where you'll be happy. So
Yeah. One tiny tip actually that's gonna help, because like we're obviously not gonna be able to visit every uni we're like thinking of, right? They're like
Yeah.
all over the world. TikTok, like
Yeah.
TikTok is such a lifesaver. Like all unis are like into TikTok
Yeah.
now. Like even like the Ivy Leagues uni, like they know people are watching. Like I use TikTok for a lot of like other things to look for, you know. So I think yeah, and that's just that's a
And on that note, like, social media is definitely really helpful because you're able
Yeah.
to get in touch with people. So don't be afraid to like DM a YouTuber that you've seen that goes there and be like, hey, like, how's the social life at this university? Like, should I join a Greek life society? Like stuff like that. Don't be afraid to ask questions and reach out to the people that actually do go to those unis.
And also feel free, like if you've got any older siblings or friends who are currently at universities, ask them if you can talk to their friends, see about like different courses that they're taking, things like that, so you can get an idea of like what it's actually like there from a student, or just listen to the next episodes in the podcast.
exactly.
And obviously LinkedIn is also really helpful, so probably set up an account on that and you can look through alumni and also people that have been to your school that you could get into contact with. And just to end off, let's just like quickly go through how to choose your major and like what factors that might influence your decision on that front.
I guess just sort of like start off with what you enjoy. That's the most important. Like this is something that you're going to be doing for a long time, like for the rest of your life. Do something that you want to do and that you think you will enjoy in the long run, not just like a random thing. Like, and while parents might pressure you into doing something specific, as important as that is, like it is important for you to be happy more than them, I guess.
Yeah, like adding on to that, being like I said, for me, I still kind of doing my research on what I want to do, but I think the most important thing, if you're kind of similar to what I'm doing, is that choose something that keeps your doors open, like a course that's not specialized or specified, unless of course you know that's what you're definitely gonna do. But for example, a great example is a business major. You know, you're gonna have like a year or two to kind of learn almost everything about business, and then some uni courses will give you like the last few years to kind of specialize and choose what you want to specialize in. So things like that, something that's not going to subject you to just one thing and then you're going to like regret it and etc. So that's like a good tip, I think.
And also, like, that's why, looking at the locations is also kind of important, because you can also look at what opportunities you can gain from outside. So I know a lot of people that, you know, they probably went to university for like a variety of things. Maybe they went for engineering, or maybe they went for like a social subject, but they do like a coding course outside of university, and then they're able to pursue a computer science job because of that course. So obviously don't feel restricted by your major, and remember that you can always take courses and apprenticeships outside of that can help you in the future.
Also on the point of like keeping your options open in what you take. So in the US there's of course majors, and then in the UK, for example, like my older sister, she does liberal arts, and she's like picked up and dropped so many different subjects since she started. So like you can always do that. Like if you choose the right course, you can always find things that you can like take or drop as you go.
Yeah, and make sure you're consulting your parents. Like, obviously, don't listen to exactly what they say, but their opinion could be really important to you, or, you know, they might be saying something that's completely logical. So do try and listen to them, and also consult your teachers and your university counselor if you have one. And
I was also gonna say, like, if your parents have any friends who've got like careers that you might be interested in, talk to them, ask them questions about like what they did in their university, what it was like, how studying that course like helped them, and what their career is like now, because it gives you an idea of what it'll be like in the future, not just short term.
Yeah. Don't worry about it, guys. You know, you learn as you go. It's gonna be that way. It's not all gonna be black and white, and you're gonna like, you know. So that's part of it.
yeah, and I think that's all. So make sure you tune in to this next season of episodes where we're going to be really delving into different majors and different locations. And we really hope to provide like an insightful kind of guide to what the possibilities are for the future. And obviously, don't be afraid if you're uncertain, because we're here to help. And also, everyone's uncertain. We're all in this together, and everything's going to work out in the end. So thank you for listening.